since the participants in psychological studies are predominantly university student volunteers who are paid to take part in the experiment.
Hello, hello, hello.
Or it might be compared to
And
the
welcome back
pharmaceutical
to
industry's
Indie
crisis that
Gamer.
resulted in coming under flack in the past 5 years in light of the underrepresentation of women or different ethnicities in clinical studies. Young's claim that it can be read as being a psychoanalysis of Freud and Adler.
I'm back on. Can I disconnect without? Um, I'm back again, and I'm just gonna be playing around in Los Angeles, I guess. I don't know, like Earth changed a lot of things in Los Angeles. I've worked a bit lately on Montreal. Beautiful Montreal. Beautiful, beautiful. And so I'm I don't know, like even my silly foolish friend is just like not really driving me these days. I don't know. Sometimes there are things to say. Sometimes there's none because there's no friction with anything because you make peace with those things that usually make frictions with your expectations, visions of life, and so if you made peace with these things that socially is a bit lame, late, and like you just move on and you keep on creating based on this acceptation of what usually upsets you. It's a bit sad because it doesn't progress most of the time. They just keep on doing the same old shit. But it's kind of funny. I've been thinking about that for a while. Like coming back to it, and like I expect people and and societies, institutions to evolve, and it upsets me because I would expect them to be more at the forefront of changes and stuff, like be able to see more clearly what they're supposed to do, what they should be doing because it serves their mission. And after a while, you get to wonder, and I'm always doing that. I'm always kind of really processing things, and I expect the world that is usually 5 years late to actually give me confirmation when they are actually far from being on the same page as I am. Like, I confront myself a lot on what needs to be done. When I was still a teenager and I had to go through college, and I did learn coding back in when computers were still kind of a luxury thing, not at this stage of my life because all my friends had computers before me, but and I think that's why I kind of loved that so much because I wanted I wanted to have access to that. So it was for me what the future. It was a way to create. It was a way to, I was a big nerd, and I still am, I guess. And so I expect society to be on the same page as me because I feel like I'm late to the party. And usually they are even later than me. And so expecting confirmation for my own insecurities because I'm an early bird and getting them to confirm that I'm right based on my intuition and stuff like that is actually the mistake that I keep on doing. But that's based on my family history and the way I've been raised. And I'm processing all that for the last 20 years. And because those last 20 years have been exactly what needed to change. And I've confronted myself on all that, and I've changed all of that at my level, but others can't do that. Whether they don't need to, whether they have the support system and they are like kind of like, why would I change? I don't have a confrontation of I need to change. Everyone is happy, everyone is kind of doing their life the way they can, and they don't feel the need because they have that support system that tell them don't change anything. You're perfectly right based on the average. And because I didn't have that, I always try to foresee the future and see what could be done and what could be improved, not 10 years after everyone. So whether it was like doing 3D modeling and learning to code when I was 16, 17, back in 1998 was what pushed me to do all that, but I was waiting for confirmation from my support system, which never came, which still isn't there. And so I was waiting for someone that doesn't understand to confirm that what I understood was okay, was right. And I've replicated that pattern for the last 20 years, still waiting for the authority to approve my perception of the world, even if they're late to the party. And so slowly I'm trying to change that so I don't wait after someone or something that is completely disconnected with the state of the art to actually confirm what I'm seeing, because they won't be seeing it for the next 10 years. And so it's kind of weird and funny because it comes at a time where I've done so many unusual things for back in the days, like, and still people do that. Like there's a big chunk of society that keeps on doing the same old patterns. Look at that, how cute. The same old patterns, because even if they're 20 something years old, they think like their parents do at 50, 60 plus years old. And so that takes a while. Not everyone is able to do that, and not everyone needs to do it. And I'm still like, because I was waiting for that confirmation, that support and all that, I did not push as hard as I could on what I thought was good and right. And so I'm 20 years later, I'm still trying to make that happen. And I need to change this pattern that I've been repeating all these years. So the point is, unlike what the authority think you should do what you think you should do. The authority usually is just trying to keep the status quo, trying to keep their advantage and their perks for themselves. They're not here to satisfy you. They're just there to keep on having the same power and the same level of control that they have been having for the last 5, 10, 20 years. This mindset from the Silicon Valley of go fast, break things is exactly what gives you an edge on the future, on society. If you know what you want to do, don't wait for anyone else to understand what they cannot. It's never gonna happen, and you're wasting your time and your energy and your patience. So focus on what you want to do. Push it as much as you can. Do it as well as you can. And sell it. There's always a market to develop, and if no one else is doing it, then you have an advantage. And that's what usually people just sticking around because they have no idea, no vision, no passion. They are the ones sticking around getting the jobs that get them in control of stuff, but they don't know where they're going. They are driving the train, but they don't even know in which direction they should go. And that's kind of the lesson that you need to integrate, whether you're 40 or 20. Don't wait for someone else to tell you what you do is right or wrong. Just do it. Pivot, learn, make mistakes, go quick, break things, and they will learn. They will learn when the whole job is done. They will understand when everyone else will, which will be way too late. So I guess that's gonna be my rant for today. Like it's always on the same. I'm really trying to learn that myself, so that's why I'm going back to that regularly. I feel it's like the same, well, a similar thing that I'm telling myself. Oh, so that's working. Cool. So that's kind of what I'm not trying to teach you anything, I'm trying to teach myself. And I was listening to whatever his name is, Ansel Geiger, something like that. Enzelganger, yeah. And he was talking about the last video 2 hours ago, the art of traveling light through life. And that's kind of what I've been doing for the last 20 years. So it really made me think, because he's saying, you don't, like he's a funny guy. I really connect with his thought patterns and the way he thinks, and like he's really, inspired by Epictetus, Stoicism, like I am. And he's like, I'm traveling light, I have only my luggage, my laptop, and that's exactly what I've been doing for the last 20 years, more and more as time passes. I got stuck in Australia for a long time because of one of his other videos is debunking, confronting Peterson's quote about marriage and reproducing and blah blah blah. And he was saying you don't need all that normal life. Like, you decide the way you want to live, like having a relationship, kids and all that, especially when you're gay, like doesn't mean like you already can't do it easily by just meeting someone and mating. So like the fact that Peterson says you're delusional, you're immature, blah blah blah, is exactly what the straight, cis, white, wealthy male needs for their sustainability. They need you to make babies so that you can spend a shitload of money, and if you need to spend a shitload of money, therefore you need to make some money, and to make some money you need to have a stable job that is paying. And usually that's the trap of modernity, of capitalist societies and all that. But if you travel light and you are not in a relationship, especially when this relationship is toxic and keeps you somewhere you don't want to be, then you're going through life in a different way as most normal people do. And so it's kind of isolating, and you get shunned by normal people, because if you do things differently, that's actually confronting them on, do they do the right thing themselves? It's kind of putting a doubt in their mind, because they're so used to, I'm just going to do like everyone else. At least I don't take the risk of diverging, of being different. I don't take the risk of taking the responsibility of doing different choices. So it's really the comfort zone of cis-normative straight people with a job and blah 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 is really what is detrimental to anyone else's mental health, and probably even theirs, because they love not having to make the choice, they love doing like everyone else, but deep down they're actually having the same questions as everyone else. I need to raise that a bit. Is this the best way to live? And the thing is, this question is like, the answer is going to be different for everyone. It depends what you like, it depends what you want. And some people are just afraid to take a risk. Not everyone has the same threshold and has the same level of risk taking. And most people don't want to take that risk. So it's really up to you to decide for yourself. What do you want? It goes back to Socrates. If I like, I'm mixing them all up, but Socrates, know thyself. It's really based on that. Listen to what you want and answer yourself to your needs, not your parents, not your mommy's expectations to do this or that. And I guess it's even harder when you're in your 20s. You are just getting into adult life, and therefore you don't even know like what you want to do, how you want to live. It takes probably your 20s to get used to society and catch up with how you should be living normally. And then I think in your 30s, that's when you actually try to debunk that. It's like, okay, the 20s, I've done the normal heteronormative life, and then in your 30s, you're like, okay, I've done it. What would I do differently? What can I choose to, based on my needs, do in a different way? Oh, I need to move that. Oh, and I need to move that. Oh, no, that's fine. It's yeah. But that takes a kind of rebellious mind. But some people are happy to be rebellious about dumb shit. But confronting what the previous generation has been trying to get them to do so they could feel comfortable with their own choices, that is a different story, my dear. It smells good. But that's what is sad. It's the younger generation being locked in a society, a system, a life that is not theirs anymore, and well, that has never been theirs, but that was the previous generation's life, but like 25, 30 years ago. And those people that need to control all that because of their fears actually prevent the next generation to actually install the update for their different lifestyle and the new things. You know, like you were not living 25 years ago the same way you live now. No iPhones, no internet, barely, like not as much content being created. Like that's just, it's not like one of the main point, but that's kind of one of the example. Like we were barely, we still had nearly like black and white TVs. You know what I mean? And now you have like on-demand streaming services on your phone. Wherever you are, traveling around. So expecting the previous generation that still doesn't understand the present context to make choices for your future 5 to 10 to 20 years is something that you need to push back on and trust yourself a bit more, because you know things that they don't know. it's challenging for them to understand that, but that's the reality. And I'm aware of that. So I'm like, and I'm already feeling the um, the gap with the new generation. There are stuff that I'm like, I don't understand that. It's just that I'm trying to not enforce my choices based on an outdated understanding of the world on the next generation, the Zoomers. I'm like, you go, girl. I'm learning from you. I I cannot wait to see what you're gonna come up with. The things that I don't understand yet, um, and it's not frustrating, but it's kind of scary to let it go. But that's what mentally healthy people can bring to the next generation. The In a way the freedom, but also the like, I trust you. You do you. I can wait to see what's going on, what you create, but also that kind of give the next generation a certain weight, like that kind of um, give you a certain responsibility of making sure your understanding is as good as possible. And because that's something that we've been seeing, whether it's like through like internet and like the millennials and the Gen X being infantilized by the boomers. The boomers want to control everything because for them it was really scary post-war to actually make things happen for the next generation. So they are used to crave that control. And that's what is out for them. But they need to process that and learn to deconstruct what they've done for the last 40 years. Trust the next generation a bit more. They're gonna do mistakes, but so did you. But trying to avoid someone to make a mistake is kind of taking away the agency to take the responsibility for the choices. So that's what boomers need to understand. You can't prevent everyone to do the mistake you wouldn't do, and maybe the mistake you wouldn't do is exactly the mistake you should not do. So let things happen, let people do their mistakes, and stop trying to be a control freak because you are afraid. Hey, that's just the way it should go. But they keep on clinging on their fears. It's kind of tricky and scary, that's for sure, but that's what you need to learn. But, with that wave of conservatism coming back for the last 10 years, you really wonder how that's gonna go and how we are gonna be able to fix this need for control of the boomers. They are just trying to control the outcome so they can benefit. They benefit from it because they still believe they're gonna take all their wealth and all their belongings and hoarding to heaven. Well, wake up, bitches. This is not the case, honey. God was dead a long time ago. Let it go. Uh-uh. I'm kind of liking all that stuff. It's kind of getting there. Like, I really like, it's definitely not looking like Bloodlines, but there's a certain look to it. There's a certain feel. The city needs to be a bit more improved and tweaked and customized, but I like it. Did you recognize LA from Vampire Bloodlines from like 20 years ago? Gallery Noir, the clinic, Mercurio's apartment, our apartments up there, well, at the beginning at least, Trip's pawn shop. I really need to upgrade my life, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm changing some stuff that kind of kept me stuck in a previous life, and hopefully I'm gonna be able to update my work setup as well. The asylum, like, I don't know, for now it's kind of looking okay. It's looking much better actually, but I don't think it's ever gonna look like Bloodlines, but as long as it looks similar, that's all I need. I don't have the ambition of recreating the whole game, and I would not want to do that to this masterpiece. Smoking a pancake. Well, I had nothing to say about my foolish run, but I think I did quite okay. I'm repeating myself. I keep on improving the speech, and maybe one day it will be useful to someone. I need to hit, it's like nearly midday, and I need to move. I haven't worked so much. I might do a bit of work before going for a walk. Enjoy this last moment as a Montrealer, and then I guess I'll see you another day. Thanks everyone for supporting me. And I'll see you another time. I hope you enjoyed getting around Los Angeles with me. And keep on building, keep on creating, keep on refining what you want to do. The power is yours.